So there are so many sagas in the political space, but we are going to cover just a few because it's late and know many of you are asleep. But tomorrow as you wake up, please check on my video, share, like. Thank you so much for those who are showing up every time I come live, because I decided on my channels I'll go live until people are used to me. Then I can now begin doing videos. Videos are more colorful because you can edit, but currently I'm doing live, so when I make a mistake, it will go as it is. If I'm showing something and it messes, it will just be as it is. And no filters, nothing. It's just me. So let's go for it for now. I know many of you will be asleep, but for America, I think it's daytime, so you can watch me. India, I don't know whether it's early morning or something like that. And for South Africa, I think we're on the same lane. Turkey, it must also be morning, early morning possibly. So welcome to Kenya, where sagas do not miss. Every day we have a saga. So of course there was a fake AI video on scamming Kenyans of digital coins, and if you looked at it before it was pulled down, there was something like this. Let me just show you what was being shown. Look at this. I don't know whether you saw this. And a lot of stations came up to say how millions of Kenyans were at risk after Raila Odinga X account is hacked for crypto scam. Look at that.
Kenya. I'm proud to announce that we will soon launch a new digital coin. A deepfake video of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga endorsing a cryptocurrency has raised the fears of large-scale scamming in Kenya. The video, which appeared on his X-verified account on September 18th, showed Odinga promoting a dubious digital coin allegedly linked to economic growth. Hours later, the post was deleted, but not before several Kenyans likely fell for the scam. Investigations now reveal that Raila's account was hacked and used to mislead millions, exposing the rising danger of crypto fraud on social media. The hacking of Raila Odinga's X account has once again highlighted how easily trusted public figures can be exploited by cyber criminals. With more than 2 million followers, Raila's verified...
So Raila Odinga, of course, has a large following, over 2 million. And now it happens that somebody who knows how to operate on digital actually had to go to Raila Odinga's X account and used it to create an AI video with Raila Odinga encouraging people to invest in crypto scam. You know, one of the things with technology is that it's very advantageous, but at the same time, it can be a real risk. You know, there are people up to now, they don't know the difference between AI and reality, and they can fall for AI so easily. Now, this happens yesterday, and remember, it is at the time of the month when people are receiving salaries, maybe people are into business, and the desperation of Kenyans at this level can actually attract them to go to something like, crypto scam. A lot of people have been asking themselves questions in relation to things to do with cryptocurrency and, all this to do with money business and securities. And because of the promises that come with it and the hardships that Kenyans are currently facing, it's so easy for somebody to say, yeah, I have 80,000 shillings. Why can't I then put in this coin? Then I'll plow back money in a short period, because business is tough. I'm telling you, because I'm a business person, selling from firewood to books to other stuff, and I have really not seen times like this. Time before you would go to schools and sell a lot of books, but currently, even selling one book a day, my goodness, is a real hassle. When it comes to firewood, unless you have maybe people are taking even weekly, maybe 4 times, the rest of the people just pick very little, that at the end of the day, even though you used to make like 300 or more a day, you find yourself making maybe 50 a day. So I can just imagine if I didn't have another job, or I don't know how to multi-hustle, how would I survive? And of course, I'm not saying I'm better off. I'm still hustling, and that is why you can see me right now. People are sleeping at the comfort of their soft beds, and I'm here sitting on the hard, you know, chair and talking, analyzing things here and there. But thank you guys. For those who are here, I can see about 3 people. Please like the video, follow, share so that we can grow. I was targeting to have 1,000 viewers by the end of the month. We are at 19th. Where do you think we will be by 30th? So guys, continue supporting me. Continue supporting me. Now, a lot of people have come to talk about this scam. I know currently there are those who believe that Raila Odinga did it, but there are those who believe that the account was hacked. Now, it is not the first time for a public figure to be used in such a scam. You remember, it must have been 2012 there was a public figure who was actually scammed. And scamming comes in different ways. There are wash, and we have those other aspects, all right? So, I don't know what the dark plot is here, but let's check on something here on Economy broadcast that was done 15 hours ago, and let's see.
Imagine conducting every part of your research only on one platform. Meet Boreum. Some have rendered apologies. So I guess hapa nabonga juu ya the previous conversation that Ishongwa is referring to. Okay. So tumekuja kujua Ishongwa was the father. So the Buddha ni Kimani. Yani umse ni Kimani. The son, that is. From this experience, I've been branded a traitor, a betrayer out of my sincere act of mercy for something I didn't say or do. May God defend me. How?
All right, guys. The crypto aspect was discussed on Economy, but away from that, there is this story about Wamchomba being a traitor. And Kenyans are very fast to actually break you down. If you understand anything to do with this boy who used to do the ghost projects, Morara actually went viral after going about with vehicles and announcing ghost projects, and he was doing so well. Personally, I thought that he would have survived up to 2027. I didn't know. I did not even expect that he would be sitting down currently and denouncing himself from politics, saying that Kenyans were calling him a project. Now here comes Gathoni Wamchomba, and she wrote this on her, on her social media platform. Dear Kenyans, sadly I'm a victim of compassion. Extending my condolence to Ichung'was after Mze's death has costed my peace and dignity. Without apologies, I stood with my long-time friend and supporter, Sosowa County, who happens to be Honorable Ichung'was' elder sister, and gave her my sympathies. Honorable Kimani made a speech in my presence and never mentioned or spoke what the section of the media is reporting, and even if he said anything, how credible is he? I have challenged them to produce a clip as evidence, and none has done so, though some have rendered apologies. From this experience, I have been branded a traitor, a betrayer, out of my sincere act of mercy, for may God defend me. However, I have now learned a great lesson. I have risked my life defending the same people accusing and vilifying me. I have lost privileges in my quest for justice and fairness. I have consistently rejected oppressive bills in Parliament amidst immense resistance. I have supported 100 victims of police brutality, arbitrary arrests, and political prosecutions. So guys, when you look at this message, it's something beaten. It's a message out of someone beaten. If you look at this message, actually, it sounds like somebody who has got tired with Kenyans. What do you think will be the next move for Mchomba? Do you think she will now give in to the government, or is she going to still stand for Kenyans? Because when you look at this message, it sounds like somebody who has seen that the citizens don't trust her at all, okay? Now, the opposition, on the other hand, continues to accuse the president for bribing people, especially the voters who are going to State House. Now, this is the question I've asked many times. Do you know why the president decided State House is the best to visit? He knows that here you have no option but give your personal details. He knows that this place you will be forced to say 2 terms. Therefore, counter, arguing on the narration of the opposition 1 term. He knows that he can have clips to justify that people really said they will support him, because those who are going, of course, they are saying they'll support him. All right. Now let's look at the opposition and what they have to say.
Opposition leaders Martha Karua of the People's Liberation Party, DAPK's Eugene Wamalwa, and presidential aspirant David Maraga are accusing President William Ruto of mass voter bribery through hosting delegations at State House, Nairobi. Speaking separately during various events in the country, the leaders said the alleged facilitation monies used to pay delegations should be directed to critical sectors such as education and health in order to improve the livelihoods of Kenyans, as Seth Olale reports. President William Ruto's hosting of delegations at State House continues to irk opposition leaders who say the house on the hill has become an epicenter for voter bribery. In Kisii County, Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga accused President William Ruto of bribing Kenyans through empowerment programs. The 2027 presidential aspirant, while attending a graduation ceremony at Camel Park Training College, demanded that the money being dished out at State House to be diverted to pay striking dons.
Now there is no money to pay teachers, the university dons. I've given notice, I don't know when it is expiring, and they are downing their tools. What does that tell you? You have money to bribe, you have no money to pay university dons.
Speaking during the burial service of the late Stephen Muriuki in Ngariama location, Gishungu constituency, Kirinyaga County, People's Liberation Party leader Martha Karua accused President William Ruto of misprioritizing funds meant for essential sectors such as education and health. He cannot have money for bribery, but not money for the welfare of lecturers. He is a letdown, and it looks like he wants to be the last hustler to be educated and to stop
Guys, that he wants to be the last hustler to be educated and have the PhDs in the world, while the other hustlers will remain illiterate, because he's not ready to sponsor education. Some schools have not received their money, the badges for, the educational fund, and yet there is money in the State House, 20 million being spent day after day, and empowerment programs all over the place. What is this empowerment that is a short while? Even if you would buy me a portion meal today, and yet I'm not able to have a sustainable life through my kids who don't have good education, they don't have good provisions. What would be that? This is something very funny about Kenya. People have money to give individuals 10,000 and they go away with, spread it all over the place. Lucy, welcome. Welcome on the platform, and we are into the Kenyan politics that are really nefarious, because the current situation of Kenya is very annoying, with a lot of people missing on educational provision, health, good health covers, and many other aspects. But when it comes to the bribing of politicians, politicians want to bribe voters. And what annoys me is that people are enlightened. People like teachers, representatives of teachers, elders from different communities, they are so ready to go to the State House and receive money. What is coming out to the citizens is that individuals receive 10,000 Kenyan shillings when they go to the State House. Recently, there were representatives of teachers there, that is Nat and Kupet. And the delegates went there. We saw them standing and speaking. They were assuring the president of 2 terms. They were also assuring him that as long as as long as he does some few things here and there, they'll be jumping and voting for him. Now, the reality is that people don't know what Ruto is doing. Ruto is simply playing his cards safe. He is keeping the records of what these people are saying, documentation, and he has also clips of what these people are saying. So, for example, when the representatives go there and say that 6.7 million teachers have said they are going to support his government, how else will people argue against this when it comes to 2027? And remember, when people go to the State House, and the reason why the president is welcoming people to the State House, you must sign somewhere. You must write your details such as the ID and all that, and the region you come from. And possibly these people also have details about those who are there, especially when it comes to teachers' unions. So we don't know what is cooking, but I just smell a rat about what is being planned by these people, because we've been told so much by Gloria Oroba, among others, that Ruto is a very canny president, a very sly one for that case. Even Gashago himself assured us that the president is a very witty person, very good at the tongue, but not ready to actualize what he says. However, it's a sad situation. Now, today, Maraga and Mother Karua were talking about it, the aspect of bribing people when they go to the State House. Now, unfortunately, we have students who are sitting at home because they have not paid fees, and schools have decided to send them away so that they can even feel like they should close already. Yet this term is the shortest, 8 weeks. So how about that? How about that? And most people are being called to go State House. They will even be sure to travel from, as far as Western ends, Kitale, let's say even Kapenguria, and even Isiolo, to go to the State House, sit the whole day, and receive 10,000 Kenyan shillings. What is 10,000 Kenyan shillings that will ruin your life for 5 years to come? We have been seeing inflation, and it's still going on. We've seen how the prices of goods have been going up. The materials, if you're doing construction, are going up every day. And yet the Kenyans, some of them cannot see this. What they do is to go to the State House and fill the numbers. How I wish people would just mind their business and do some other things and stop going there to embarrass us, Anyway, that is how extravagant the expenditure at State House is. Let's look at this.
Now, State House has turned into a house of lies and a drain on taxpayers' money. And in this week's edition of Face the Facts, our reporter Haman Kamariki takes us behind the gates of power to expose the West, the extravagance and the deception at the very heart of government. Tonight, Face the Facts puts State House under the spotlight.
Look at that. Look at those numbers, guys. These are things people don't know and they don't want to know.
Welcome to First the Facts. And tonight we are turning that spotlight on the spectacle that should be our center of gravity, the State House. Now, instead of it being a symbol of Kenya's sovereignty, it's slowly becoming a stage for West, a comedy for theatrics, and a cathedral of lies. The control of budget, Margaret Nyakango, has been sounding the alarm on government excesses and misuse of public funds.
I have to use a lot of discretion. And I'm also human. I'm under threat. I have to self-preserve.
Let's go through the figures first. 6.3 billion Kenya shillings, that's the tab, hospitality government-wide. In short, we spend approximately 17.2 million Kenya shillings a day, and guess who is leading the circus? None other than State House, taking the largest slice of the cake with 1.15 billion Kenya shillings alone on hospitality. Tea and mandazi worth billions. Yet, our schools are short on chalk and our hospitals are running on empty medicine cabinets. State House burned through 2.2 million Kenya shillings a day on printing. That's a staggering 817 million Kenya shillings in 1 year. Yes, you heard me right. In a digital age, they are paper. They are paper pushing to tune a fortune, while students can't even open a textbook. Now, remember some time back when the president said that he is going paperless and he chaired his first cabinet when the cabinet secretaries...
Guys, when I look at this, I just get sick. And I'm so surprised that people are so ready to book buses and go to State House to receive 10,000 shillings, then say 2 terms. We are assuring you of 2 terms, Kenyans, when will we learn? When will we ever learn? Because the reality is that what we are doing is we are choking ourselves, we are strangling ourselves, we are creating a grave that we'll never come out of. We are going to be swallowed. Remember, Ruto told us just when he stepped in power. When he stepped in power, he told us, Kenyans, you have three options: to migrate from Kenya, end up in prison, or go to heaven. Now, what exactly will he tell us after he comes back the other 5 years, knowing that he doesn't want to be re-elected again? What will he tell us? I'm just imagining. I don't know whether you're imagining just like I am doing. Anyway, it is what it is. That is the reality. The reality is that the budgets in State House are exaggerated. You've seen about printing. What about refurbishing? Look at this. The extravagance in terms of refurbishing, 963 million being spent on that. The completion is 44%. Refurbishing of vehicles. Can you imagine 916 million being used on that? Now let's come to another thing, and that is the budget overrun. When you look at the overrun on emergency kitty, the budget overrun is 8.5 billion. Actual expenditure 9.5 billion in 10 months. 10 months, guys. 10 months, and we say we don't have money. We have to keep borrowing. Look at this. When it comes to emergency fund on RAID, withdrawn in 42 days, 36 billion, approved 2.5 billion, 3.6 billion, but approved 2.3 billion. Can you imagine? That is money going to people's pockets. Now let's come to emergency fund RAID. Rejected 700 million DAS and 400 million on vehicles. Now there is more on that. Again, when you come to delegations DCO, look at this. When they were bringing the teachers, for example, they said 10,000 teachers attended. Of course, those are union representatives. They were given handouts of 10,000, which added to 100 million Kenyan shillings. Now, they are not just the only people who came to State House. We had many visitors coming. Look at that.
The corporate share. Now, meanwhile, school capitation is told university to start the manufacture of local devices. Yes, his office is burning billions.
Now, the government promised to have a digital process in Kenya. However, anybody who is aware about schools whereby students are using digital tools and school digital tools from the government can let me know, because so far I have not seen that. I am just seeing teachers still struggling with the whiteboards and others still using chalkboards, of course. Anyway, let's go to the revelation by Pierre Lumumba into this circus of events in our country.
Many things have been happening. First in now. It is sad. It is unfortunate. It is painful. And even with those sentiments, Pielo, the president has been very clear and has come overt in no uncertain terms and said that anybody who would say the words that you're speaking now is against development, that doesn't want to see a situation where we make things better. And he said, even coming out of State House, that we don't care what they say. We are going to make this country better. We will put money in the hands of people. We will make sure that we develop. I am the best president that Kenya has ever had, and that we will not stop. In the next 2 years, all these things that we said we're going to do, we will do. And the naysayers will not detract us. Of course, we've heard such rhetoric before, but I've never heard anybody saying I'm the best. It is history that makes that judgment. And the jury remains out until historians are able to say and to judge what it is that you did. Let's look at the statistics. Your teachers, your lecturers are saying, we are not going to work. And as I speak to you now, there is no teaching in all public universities in this country. They are saying that they have not been paid for the months of July and August, and every other county is issuing a memorandum. Your doctors have not been paid. Your different sectors of the economy have not been paid. Suppliers of goods and services have not been paid. Where is this money in the people's pockets? The evidence contradicts the assertions. I can give you personal examples. I did work for a quasi-governmental organization in the year 2014. I've got orders, have not been paid. And many are the testimonies. Companies are being wound up. Houses are being sold. Where is this money in people's pockets? My president convinces us that we need a house levy. We deduct it from our workers. Then my president tells those who have participated in sports, I'm going to give you the houses.
Million.
Where is the logic? My president tells teachers, I'm going to give you 20%. Is it my president to give? Even if you want to be
My
charitable,
goodness. Okay, I'm reasoning with Pierre Lumumba, and I'm looking at the fact that the president promised that is the football players' houses. He promised another 20% to teachers. So what remains is 60%. Now tell me, where are the police? Where are the doctors? Where are the pilots? Where are the... Because all civil servants are being deducted money that is heading towards housing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a circus of State House. A circus of State House indeed. Because even if it's promising, actually, if I was the president, I would keep quiet on promises and deal with what is currently the burden the Kenyans are facing. Now tell me, for those who are into business, where is this money? Because my pockets are pocketless. You stay a whole day, you don't receive anything. Call for customers who want the products. Hey. Yet the president keeps going there and saying, I am the best. I have a PhD. I don't know. I am learned. Do we want learning or do we want performance? Lucy says our president is a big joke. Of course, he is a big, big joker. Because he comes here praising himself, dusting the courts, bragging. I always say, if you are a real husband, you don't have to remind your wife, who am I to you? If you are a real mother, you don't have to go to your children and remind them, who am I? Who am I to you? Or do you know how much of a mother I am? If you find somebody reminding you, do you know what kind of man I am? Know that they have lost it. They are now manless. If there is such a word that exists. Because there is no way you will go about telling people, do you know how much I'm learned? Do you know I'm the best? If you are the best, they are the citizens who are supposed to say you are the best. Because I just look at some things in this country. Every day there is inflation, guys. The time I was in university, I remember, we used to be given 2,500 by our parents, and you could go budget so many things. You stay with them for a whole semester. Can you imagine? Now, currently, tell me what even 10,000 can do. I'm just wondering, for those who are going to State House and receiving 10,000, then celebrating and saying two-term, I hope they are not serious. But then, already going communicates that they are with the president. Because once you give your details there, do you know how they'll be used in 2022, 2027? I'm sorry, I'm going back instead of saying 2027. People don't know, but they're just going there and pretending that it's just a delegation and all that. But remember, your personal details are being taken. Your important data is being recorded somewhere. So what exactly are you doing? You are selling Kenyans. Now look at Raila Odinga, for example. Do you even think he has any plan to rescue Kenya? I don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think Raila Odinga has any plan to rescue Kenyans from anything. He did it long ago by bringing multi-party, but that one cannot justify his current moves because we can see that he's not for Kenya. If he's supporting Sakaja, for example, somebody who has destroyed Nairobi totally, returned it to the 90s, whereby I used to hear that In Nairobi City, you could land and you could have the street children throwing, shit at you so that they acquire your money. How can we in this digital era have such a situation coming back when the policing has been indicated that it has to be on watch out? A whole city that is receiving a lot of visitors on tourism and other missions, including ambassadors and people from different countries. How can we have such a city? The city has been thrown to the dogs, and that is why we are seeing what we are seeing. Now look at cases, for example. Recently, we heard about 3 corruption cases that are standing. Now, the president the other day, when he stood, I don't know why Kenyans thought that he was complaining about corruption. That day, he stood before the senators to say that, did you receive that money that was given? He was not even complaining about extortion. He was simply making a point that he normally gives money, and that money should reach the people whom he has been dispersing to. He was not complaining, and he was not even ready for war. He just claimed that to mean that he was revenging to the senators because they had refused to pass the e-citizen and this anti-what. There is some other bill that was supposed to be passed. But the reality is that he never was complaining. And that is why you've seen everything has gone underground. No one is pursuing any corruption case. Apart from now, the people who are trying to prove, like to fight the government, such as Oparanya, when they give statements about the Kakamega, representative, the person who is supposed to vie under ODM, then the cases of corruption on him are revived. The other day, Waititu was pulled under the bus because, again, you remember what he said. He gave a point against the government. And we have so many cases. If we begin to mention now, including Wamatangi, is it Wamatangi? No, this MP for Sirisia, who had sold the wheelbarrows, bought wheelbarrows at an exorbitant price. All right? So it's not true that actually the president is doing anything to save us. All right, let's skip that commercial and proceed, because we are remaining with almost 10 minutes to finish.
They are to be found in the streets of different parts of the country. They are still doing a good job. And that is why the country is still held. But there is a small percentage, perhaps they don't even number 3,000 in this country, who assume that the rest of us are a bunch of dunderheads, a bunch of fools who can be manipulated without consequence. And history is clear, history is consistent, that there comes a time when the people can no longer resist it. And history tells us, beware the fury of patient people. I used to hear this rhetoric that I hear in this country during the Duvaliers in Haiti. I used to hear this rhetoric in Mobutu. I used to hear this rhetoric in Jean Bedel Bokassa, Central African Republic. I used to hear this rhetoric from Sheikh Hasina in Bangladesh. I used to hear this kind of rhetoric from the Rajapaksa in Sri Lanka. I used to hear this rhetoric in Nepal.
I used to hear this rhetoric in Nepal. I used to hear this rhetoric in which other country? Libya. I used to hear this rhetoric in Zimbabwe. Anyway, and it has come to pass. The rhetoric will really happen, possibly one day. Meanwhile, let's get to another story that DCP member for...
Now, State House has...
DCP member for... Let's check on this on BANISA. I hope you know BANISA, guys. This guy has been bought off. Let's look at this. This guy here, I hope you know him. Yeah, so he actually was seen in State House, and the 2 promises were offered. He should choose between ambassador and the political advisor position. All right? So possibly tomorrow we'll be having an answer about this, guys. Look at that.
Now, if at all it's true that RUTO has acquired this guy, as I'm seeing some people saying, then we are finished. Because as per the last poll from Mizani Africa, Mambo si mzuri. Just check this out. Here you can see that UDA, as per Mizani Africa's last poll, is leading with 58.8%. DCP has 16.7%. ODM there has 3.9%. It can decide at any moment to drop its candidate and donate those numbers to UDA, which is already leading by a large margin. Now imagine if this DCP candidate is wiped out of the equation through a state-offered job. That means
Banisa is going to let people down, as you have just heard from David Wafula, one of the political analysts that I really respect and adore. All right. Away from that, we've had a problem with Safaricom. Safaricom, guys, is our provider in Kenya, especially in many matters, not just local money, but also virtual money. Many people are receiving money from YouTube and even Facebook pages, and you know, the general operations are relying on M-Pesa. Unfortunately, the swappers or scammers have come to realize that so much money is kept in Safaricom, and what they are doing now, they are targeting gigs. Now, the other day, when Ericom Omondi opened a till, pay bill, and also Safaricom for contribution towards the late Ojwang, and they opened that for the Muzee. It happened that they swapped his phone while he was struggling on matters, MOG, and his when the ID disappeared, his SIM was swapped and a lot of money was siphoned. Now, many people came out to accuse Eric Omondi, who came to clarify that he had nothing to do with that. And of course, let me be assuring you that it may be some inside people within Safaricom, because the only people who can easily operate these aspects, they might have been working with Safaricom. Remember, recently we had a saga in Kenya whereby Equitel was stealing a lot from people. And of course, if there is any insecure company that I'll say without blinking, it is Equitel, because like people keep calling. People will really call on your phone, tell you, yeah, your line is not having credit. I don't know if you don't feel it. For me, I just know from the word go, when they begin to say hello, I normally just know. Or they tell you, you have won something or something like that. Now, it has happened that Mulamwa's SIM card has been swapped. He is in China. Did they swap it in China or in Kenya? Let me know. Mulamwa is one of the people who is earning a lot of money from brands, from his own performances, and from Facebook page. Last month, he showed us that he earned 1 million Kenya shillings from Facebook. And why? Because he has been making a lot of scandals on Facebook, and with that, a lot of following. And of course, he's also a public figure, if you may ask me. Now, today, is it today or yesterday? Today, Mulamwa came up with a video. Let's just watch this. And by the way, I'm just, currently I'm in a place, the market where I stay, it's close to where Mulamwa comes from. So, when I talk about it, let's just check here. Let's just check about this.
Out of hand, manze. Nyinyi amchungi customers wenyu. Kabisa, kabisa. Cause now, niko China, as you can see, it has been 4 days. Na jana jioni, mtu ameweza kureplace line yangu hapo Kenya. Like amereplace, akaka kwa simu yake, akanilog out WhatsApp, akafungua hiyo WhatsApp na line yangu. Like, what's the procedure? Eh?
Have you heard about this new tactical mosquito zapper?
Hey, let's skip that. Let's skip the have you heard about.
Mtu atafunguaje line yangu, atareplaceaje line yangu yenye mimi mwenyewe niko nayo hapa Kenya? Hana ID yangu, hana sura yangu, hana kitu yangu yote. How did that happen? You are now going to lose us as customers, because how safe is our money hapo hivyo kwa hiyo app ya M-Pesa? Kama mtu anaweza renew line yako anytime anataka, hana credentials, hizo questions alipita aje? Akiulizwa last credit alijuaje ni ngapi? Akiulizwa balance alijuaje ni ngapi? It takes a lot before a line is replaced. But nyinyi, you don't care. Muna replace tu mtu laini, anaibia mwingine, anaenda anafungua WhatsApp, ana text kila mtu ati nimekwama. Tuma 35,000, tuma 10,000, tuma ngapi, aki withdraw while you're still there. So, is our money safe? Because mimi nikifika Kenya, kitu ya kwanza manze, lazima do zangu tu zirudishwe. Muniambie mtu anaweza replace aje line yako, mpaka apigie watu, atumie wengine pesa, aitishe wengine pesa. Like, I believe that's the worst form ever, how you can treat your customer. Like, data yake iko very open. Unapata mtu ana replace line yako, anataka kuhack accounts zako.
All right, so that is something that Mulamwa has shared. And of course, when we heard about it on Ojwang, when Ojwang's father died, and it just happened like that. And then there was this case about, was it one of the OCS at Nairobi police station? You remember you also indicated that money was being, I don't know, asked through his line, and I was like, can one line be used by two people at the same time? I didn't understand. Up to now, I've never understood. Lucy is saying, I'm not surprised with all these things. Kenya has become a country of no accountability and no consequences. Indeed, a lot of people, even heads of institutions, including schools, colleges, they are now looting, stealing, left, right, because they know nothing will be done. What they do is they collaborate with the accountants. They collaborate with the auditors who will come in. When those auditors come, now they will eat chicken, burgers, sausages, and they pretend sitting there the whole day or 2 days, pretending to be checking records. But there is no check what they are checking. They are only ensuring they balance and the school is safe, but there's a lot of millions which have been stuffed somewhere by the principal or whatever. When it comes to other organizations, the same happens. You know, the directors collaborate with the accountants and they collaborate with auditors who come to check, are sent by the government. And they are also given envelopes, and that is the end. So, I just believe that Kenya has systematized corruption. We have systematized corruption in a manner that I don't know whether will save our situation. I don't just know whether we'll have ever a solution to our situation. It's hard enough. It's hard enough, Lucy. You won't even admire to keep working hard for Kenya because the things that happen are very difficult. Until the only thesis we can say is that even though we would wish to eliminate corruption, because it is an admirable situation, and it looks like the eradication of corruption is so sweet. However, how realistic is it? You know, we are not having wise objectives of sustained containment of this corruption in our institutions. Transparency has been raped. Civic vigilance is also stuck, or it is dwarfed. Realistic policies are missing. So when you look at corruption in our country, for example, and the crude ways, even fraud and all that, you know, they are happening because the public service is leaking like a faucet, a toilet faucet. Yeah. So we have uncertain currency, trust is lost, and there's a stubborn weed that is resprouting every day, such that even when the gardener works, it cannot work for us, you know. So it is very difficult for us to actually think that we can eliminate these habits, and I don't know how our final state will be. But realistically, when you look at corruption, it has become a structural challenge that is tied to institutions, and we have incentives that are coming all along, and it has turned out to be a human nature in one way or the other, so that how resilient it is, I don't know how we can survive, because as I've said, this problem have grown so much because of systematization. We have systematized corruption such that when someone comes in, even if they are new, they inherit what the old school was doing and continue with it, you know. The other thing is that it has been institutionalized so that we know schools are doing it, hospitals are doing it, Every other institution is doing it. So it has been institutionalized, and it also has been systematized, you know. So we are not just having it as a moral problem, but it's a systematic institutional problem. Now, we can see that even when we have watchdogs around courts and auditors, there is no way you can deal with it, you know. Lucy is saying, I have seen some videos online about SHA, how 41 million shillings was paid to one patient who went to deliver one baby. 40 million should be used for 10,860 deliveries. What a shame. Yeah, it's so shameful, by the way. The things that are happening in Kenya, I don't know. I just don't know whether we'll have a solution, because even when you look at arms like EACC, IPOA, and whatever, even though they call them independent bodies, these bodies don't work as independent, you know. And when it comes to cases also, they think that cases are very complex. They cannot take the shortest time possible to be solved. So with that, they delay cases and delay until you'll get tired. Then corruption seems to have adapted in our country. Just like when you go to a cold place, you adapt to it. You go to a hot place, you adopt it. So corruption has adapted in our country, so that even if you close one loophole, there are so many channels that mushroom. When you look at a moeba, you know you can kill a small piece, like cancer. You cut one piece, the others mushroom, and they really create a network that is high profile, you know, a large high profile probe that cannot be solved. So you find cases are coming, and bribery networks are so thick that they resist it, you know. So the power vacuums, the legal reversals, and a lot of things that just block it. Now, when you look at corruption also in our country, and this fraud and other dubious ways in which people are using to make money, you realize that politically, these people are connected politically, and they have stabilized the corrupt practices. Like now, look at what is happening when people are going to the State House. What is that? You know, like it has become a political activity whereby every politician wants to acquire money through that. You find that a governor controls a school, they bring a project, they say this project is 10 million. They talk to the school management that we are going to build this project is 6 million, but we have written 10 million. So we'll squander 4, and we can only give you maybe the leeway now to play with the materials, so that for you, you don't spend 6, you can spend 3 or 4. Now the corruption is traveling so fast that everybody now wants to engage in it, you know. So you realize that the projects that are running even in the country, as you look around in institutions, they are just cow caches for the leaders. The other thing is the capacity to actually handle corruption is not easy for our country. You look at it, like the lawyers, see how Wakili Boba was killed so easily, and his case is almost forgotten. Even if they are talking about it, we'll just forget it very soon. And there is no incentive for those who are whistleblowing, because what are they given? It's such a shame to our nation. And however much we talk, I don't know how we solve it. Now, when you look at Safaricom as a company, we trust Safaricom a lot. We've been using Safaricom in so many activities, and I don't know if they go on with what is happening, like this swapping of the phones. How safe are we? By the way, our money is not safe. Yeah.
Not yet. But you have 100 million sitting idly in an account, and salaries have not been
Look
paid.
at this.
When is the last month you paid salaries?
It was in June.
So you have not paid July salaries, August salaries. Most likely, you're going to take a bank overdraft to pay salaries. But 100 million is sitting somewhere.
But you have seen the payslips. The people who work in Turkana are not expecting any salary. They are earning zero.
Yeah, but Governor, you get the point. That is a concern. Whether you want the park or not, it cannot be that we're 100 million sitting idly in an account, not earning interest, reducing because of bank fees paid. We were
Governors and counties, governors, hey. And the other day, of course, the MCA of Githurai had to resign from Nairobi end, because according to him, Sakaja is actually paying even companies which have not done any project. you realize that MCA was feeling frustrated. He says he was chosen by the people, but every time he goes for a project, Sakaja tells him it's done. But on the ground, it's not. In fact, there are already people who are paid for that project. I was like, what is this? You know? And that is why I wonder, Sakaja was almost to be, he was supposed to be impeached. But Raila Odinga, our enemy, somebody says that Ruto, Uhuru, and Raila are our greatest enemies of progress. So Raila went to protect Sakaja, but Sakaja is earning a lot of money, like paying for projects that have not been done in Nairobi. And that is why MCA of Githurai, I saw a video, resigned. Yeah, I want us to look at that one as the last entity for the day. Let's look at this one for the as our last entity.
Mwangi wa soko ya mawe, na kwa saa hii MCA wa Githurai 44, Githurai ambayo iko Risambu, ambayo iko Nairobi. Na ni ukweli kuna barua ina circulate ya my resignation ya kwamba nina resign katika kiti cha MCA wa Githurai. Unfortunately hiyo barua ili link kama haijaweza kufika kwa mikono ya speaker, kwa sababu speaker nimemtafuta siku 3 hajakuwa, na kuna shughuli alikuwa nayo, na mimi singetaka kuambush speaker, sababu sheria za mtu kuresign ama MCA kuresign ni kuandikia speaker barua, na hivyo nilifanya. Na hii si kitu atunafaa kufanya hivi holela ati uandike barua uende upate uachie speaker. Lazima kwanza uipeleke vizuri bila kuambush speaker, umwambie ndio hii barua yangu ya kuresign, na afu tena ukae chini na speaker, ndio kwa radio ya taifa ama ya national radio anasema ati ni green card nimekula. Ni net kwa mtu wa opposition kama yake ya governor kusema hivyo, ili hali hata hajanipigia simu hata kuniuliza nini inaendelea, na kwenda kusema ati ni green card ati nimekula. Nimefungwa hapa MCA venye hawezi ongea, na hapa MCA wa Nairobi hata karibu Kenya ni venye hawataka kuambia watu kweli. Mimi naambianga watu kweli na natembea na wao kwa sababu nataka kuwa transparent. Nataka kuambia watu wangu kitu inaendelea. MCA
Commercial breaks are too many. Commercial breaks, guys. One after the other. Yeah, we understand that people should earn from ads, but sometimes they're just too many.
Budget ambayo itawekwa kwa katiba ya Kenya hata wai fanya oversight, kwa sababu hakuna venye mtu anapata mshahara, ukishachukua loan inakatwa mshahara unapata 20k 30k, unaweza oversight mtu ana manage billions. Hiyo ni kama hata haiwezekani. MMC hapa wako na shida, na ile kitu tunafanya MMC wavumilie ni kukua wako na loan walipewa, hata wanashindwa hiyo loan tutalipa aje? Wao tulichukua sasa, inabidi tutulie tu na unyanyaswe. Lakini mimi nikaona wacha niongee ukweli, wacha watu wajue, na mimi naangalia interest za watu wa Githurai. Project zinaanza kama sasa, kuna siwa nimesukumana nayo, imeanza kutoka huko kwa Thika Road kwa vitanda, imeingia mpaka kwa soko ndani, imekwamia hapo ati kwa sababu hakuna pesa inalipwa. Yani unapata kazi inafanyika, lakini yani county haina pesa. Watu ukiwaambia ni county haina pesa, na kuambia wanaona kwa TV Nairobi ndio inachukua pesa mingi. Unasikia mara governor ndiye ameongezea revenue collection. Wewe wanakuuza na hii pesa inaenda wapi? So mimi nataka kusema watu wa Githurai, ndio maana hiyo barua nimeandika na nikapeana
Yeah, so the MCA had to resign, or rather plan to resign, because Sakaja is actually squandering money and also conducting tenders in supplying air. We call it supplying air as an idiomatic expression to mean he's paying companies which have not done anything. Who knows? Possibly they are his company. Recently, as he was being, questioned before the Senate, he argued out and said that there is nothing that actually he's doing, and the proxy companies belong to the fellow politicians. So guys, we have spent a lot of time. I didn't expect that I would take 50 something minutes. I thought it's 40 minutes because I was late, but I'll still be coming back tomorrow for both edutainment for us and Live Saga TV. I've also done some music on Music Hills TV, so you can check out on that and support my music. I always appreciate. Lucy is a very great, friend and sister who is watching both on Edutainment for Us and Life Saga TV. You can also watch one day Music Hills TV, a channel that I'm also trying to grow in my composed music. Yeah, I compose some music there and try to grow, because Kenya has become a very difficult country. You have to try hustle left, right, even on Facebook page and all that. Otherwise, have a good night for those who are going to sleep. And for those of you whom it is daytime, have a good day. Let's meet tomorrow after I'll have finished my classes. Adios.